We begin in the Middle East. The Israeli army announced a daily tactical pause for Gaza on Sunday. The pause will take place between 8 a.m. in the morning to 7 p.m. in the evening every day. The Israeli army says this will ensure the delivery of humanitarian aid into Gaza. Now, to be clear, this is not a full-fledged ceasefire, and the pause will only be applied in a small portion of northern Gaza. The Israeli forces say they will continue to fight Hamas in central Gaza and in the southern city of Rafah. However, it is worth noting that the tactical pause comes after the Israeli army suffered 11 casualties this weekend. Also, not everyone is happy with this new tactic. In fact, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu criticized the move. The Israeli leader says that an 11-hour-long humanitarian pause simply isn't acceptable. Now, according to reports, neither Prime Minister Netanyahu nor his defense minister were even aware of the military's plans before they were announced. Overruling the army leadership, Prime Minister Netanyahu ordered the continuation of military activity in Gaza.
Despite the heavy and staggering cost, we must stick to the goals of the war: the destruction of Hamas military and governmental capabilities, the return of all our hostages, ensuring that Gaza no longer poses a threat to Israel, and the safe return of our residents to their homes, both in the north and in the south.
Other far-right ministers in Netanyahu's government have called the army's tactical pause delusional. In fact, National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has called for the sacking of the top military brass. Meanwhile, thousands of Israelis protested against the Netanyahu government and demanded a hostage release deal.
We need a change that will start from the government and down, to change the situation, to release the hostages as soon as possible, and just to change the reality. We can't live in this reality for a long time.
Now we are protesting against this government in order to bring new elections, because we cannot stand anymore what this government is doing to these people, to our people. It's a shame that there are still hostages who have been in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, after 8 months.
It's also worth noting that the Israeli army's decision to undertake daily tactical pauses in Gaza has left the Netanyahu government divided. The prime minister doesn't agree with the army's decision, and joining him are his far-right coalition partners. Meanwhile, Hamas has welcomed the decision but called for more border crossings to be opened. The tactical pauses and the growing rift between the Israeli army and the prime minister puts the war against Hamas in a new light. From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.